conference will now be recorded.
We'll begin with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we welcome everyone to the January 9th Marion County Commission meeting. Before we begin, a big congratulations to our sheriff that's sworn in, Sheriff Sawyer, and to our 3 commissioners who've been running annually. Now elected to a 4-year term, Commissioner Crowfoot, Commissioner Becker, and Commissioner Gehring. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
I believe our first item today is to reorganize the board. Who wants the...
I'm gonna make a motion that we keep Commissioner Mueller as chair and Mr. Crowfoot as vice chair.
Yeah, he was done in 2024.
Do we have motions? Is there a second?
2 years. Second.
Yeah, you just got 2 years, then you'll have to run.
Any other
Yeah.
nominations? I guess if not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I was not paying
It was
attention.
distracted.
Yeah. Because
Sorry.
I was going to question you, you said 4-year terms, his is 2-year term.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks for the correction.
He's filling
Yes,
it rough.
filling out the uncompleted
Yes,
term,
yeah.
correct.
That's why I was
And-
trying
And
to-
Commissioner Becker hasn't been running
The
annually.
motion was to keep Mueller as chair and Crowfoot as vice chair.
I don't think we need to keep it moving here. We always move up.
And so I guess it's 4-1 then.
Okay.
Well, there hasn't been a
Hasn't been
vote call,
voted
right?
yet. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried 4-1. Okay, we will move to public forum. Anyone online wishing to make comments? Got a couple microphones open.
Yeah, I don't know why it's been, but there are no.
I had to meet with
Okay.
Bryce earlier, so.
If there's no public comments, we'll move to agenda approval. Would like to add the sheriff to the agenda in about 2-3 minutes.
Under Health Department to be an executive session, property acquisition.
Okay?
I believe Health Department also has a short amount of department business that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
We can have that at their time.
Right. Any other additions to the agenda? If not, we'll move forward with the agenda as amended. Before we start administrative, I'd ask the sheriff to come up.
Yeah, I need an executive.
All right, on personnel,
All personnel can stay.
No, what's the topic?
Oh,
Is it-
personnel issue, sorry.
Okay, personnel
Sorry.
performance.
I move that we, how long?
10 minutes.
I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance, with Commission Brad, Tina, and the sheriff for 10 minutes from 12:34 to 12:44.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gehring. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We'll be back at 12:44.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they, I think both ends need local people.
Well, and I think it's too, if you could get these seniors in these high
And
schools.
we are on, it's just,
to show
we're
up.
waiting for one more minute for the
Okay.
You know, even if it's
clock
just.
to
a-
switch to.
Well, 10
You know,
seconds.
Yeah.
if the school say, hey, seniors, you can go here this day, you know, look at what Marion County has.
This
to offer.
conference will
Seniors.
now be recorded.
Okay, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with the commission, Brad, Tina, and Sheriff Sawyer for 5 minutes. That's from 12:45 to 12:50.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gehring. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Be back at 12:50. How that works?
We have reports on what happened.
I can get you one in.
This conference will now be recorded.
We're out of executive session, no decisions made. Had some other comments for us?
Yes, we had an incident happen down on 80th, or Pawnee, not Pawnee, Old Mill, and 80th today, or last night. We had a landowner get 7 of his alpacas shot in the head last night.
Wow.
Left dead. Somebody would have had to walk onto their property to do 4 of the ones that were shot. So, well, it just hit social media this morning when we were doing our oath swearing. So we are on it. We're trying to figure it out. We've already interviewed some people. We're pulling some camera footage from other residences around that area to see if there's a vehicle in the area. But Mr. Bethany lost 7 head last night, and they were shot by a high-powered rifle. They're all shot in the same location. So.
Just for your information, last night there were 3 pit bulls running around Peabody too.
Really?
Yes. Just, they attacked one dog and was on another guy's property, and he did have a weapon. Said if they'd have charged him, they would have been taken care of.
And he would have been justified.
But they didn't charge him. They didn't charge him.
So,
Well, thank you for the update.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, we'll move back to administrative items. Tina?
Okay. We do have several change orders that those were not in your packet because they were done after the packet was prepared. So I have those for you, and while you're working on those, I will print the minutes. I wasn't sure who the chairman would be, so I waited to print that signature page.
You want a motion to approve the minutes? That way it's guaranteed.
I was just gonna have you, okay.
No changes to the minutes?
Either way.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
A motion from Commissioner Garing, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot.
Everybody done.
Other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried, 5-0.
That's good, thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, no, that's good, because then if there would have been changes, that would have been.
That's a good point.
That's what I mean.
You never know.
I've had changes before, last second.
She's had a few.
I'm
what
too.
you're saying. Oh,
Oh, I thought it was for yourself.
No. For someone else.
No.
no.
Yeah.
I think I'm not doing that. Not mind reader.
Always going down on property taxes. I'm glad we keep adding things to Brad's list.
I'm sticking.
Yeah, we've all threatened not to.
That one's good.
Deny.
That's
Inconsequential.
simplistic.
No. No.
Deny. Oh, that was expired.
Make that news. Probably not.
Better leave that one alone.
Yeah.
Didn't see the plus mark?
Yeah, I put a plus mark on there.
And that was there.
Always gotta give them a hard time.
Okay, there they are.
Thank you. Typically, the first new meeting of the, after we reorganize, we have a motion and a vote to deposit funds in all Marion County banks that are authorized by law.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Garing, was there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you, Tim.
Is that something that we need to continue to do? I mean, okay, just.
Yeah, I still think we do based on that statute. Does that still
Okay.
include keeping the main operating account in Marion?
Typically, yes, the working bank will be Central National this year. We
Rotate.
we rotate between the three banks that have branches here.
That's something that's, we should be doing?
That's
or not?
primarily just because of being able to do business, because we have to deposit multiple times a day during certain, we have to actually physically go there multiple times a day during peak periods, so it's not necessarily feasible to do that elsewhere, which is the reasoning in the past, so.
I think you probably said electronic depositing, but need to buy equipment to do that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that, I think I've asked that before, and that's the reason, is because of the ease of access. Okay. Mileage. The IRS mileage rate is going up 3 cents, from 62.5 to 65.5. And so we will do a resolution setting the county mileage rate for this year. I wasn't sure where you want that to be. If you want to go with the IRS rate of 65.5, or if you want to keep it the same, or what you would like to do.
Okay, past procedure's been to match IRS, is that right? Or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to set the mileage rate at the new IRS rate for the year.
Okay, we have a motion from
Second.
Commissioner Becker, second by Commissioner Garing. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, can we then have, I do have a resolution, which is 2023-02. Can we have, which does set that mileage rate at 65.5? So we need a motion and to approve the resolution.
Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
What's the number?
2023-02.
Make a motion to approve 2023-02, setting the mileage rate at the IRS rate for the year.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Becker, second by Commissioner Garing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed
Sorry, I didn't mean to get ahead of you.
If you're fine.
say nay. Motion carried 5-0. action on the bank depositories did not take a resolution, but the action on the IRS rate has taken a resolution.
What was on one? What did we do?
I was
one was
asking
the
about
RAWs.
the bank depositories.
One was the RAWs resolution.
Yeah, rural opportunities.
Yeah, sorry.
Last week.
Yeah, I knew it had to be from last week.
That's what you were asking, isn't it?
Yeah. I was asking the wrong question. I
On
started
the,
Monday, so we're ready for 3.
On the table, you have an conditional use application for the building at 1240 Commercial, just the draft application. I have sent it for, everybody should have a copy of it. I sent it to Road and Bridge, Planning and Zoning, and Emergency Management for review, and incorporated any changes that they had in the little summary page that I typed up in the back. So, I'll give you a few minutes to look through that, and then, if you're good with it, then I can approve it and have the chairman sign it. We can submit that to the city.
In that description down there,
Would this application be affected if we didn't use some of the offices for a certain department?
No, so
We are requesting to use it for administrative offices and a meeting room. I am putting in here which offices.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if one of these departments didn't end up there, would that cause a problem with the CUP?
Shouldn't, because you get a generic zones for office, government office.
But that's a very good question.
Right now, it's not zoned for government office.
yeah, it just says we intend.
As long as the use is consistent.
in our purchase, did you get this legal description? Did we get a surveyor to look at this? I mean,
No,
it's got a lot of west 20 foot of south half of lot 4, west 12 foot of north half of lot 4.
It was taken from the filed last deed of record on the property.
I guess, Tina, sometime if you give us a map of that, I don't know. I'd like to see just what all we do, what do we own out there?
Yeah, we did not have it flagged.
Sure.
We have let's say appraisers maps.
Yeah, let me bring that up.
I know we looked at it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's divided or.
Let's see.
There's a 8-foot jog in that lot somewhere between the south half and the north half on the west side.
Not thinking of anything over there is what I was getting at on the west side of town.
Unless there's an easement
telephone pole.
coming in there.
Could be an easement.
Could be on the north.
But if it were, it would identify it as an easement, not as a fee simple
Yeah.
change. The way that's described, that's a meets and bounds, so you're jotting in that 8 feet. You'll pin it that way. So I don't know either.
West.
This isn't a true meets and bounds description.
It comes the closest to that, but it's not in a
Yeah,
plat.
because the meets and bounds always start at a given point.
Yeah.
Oh, here it
East.
is. It's
Okay,
right here.
there's your map.
The east, the west side would be straight. That's the,
See the jog on the inside.
Up on,
Oh.
But it's adjoining.
it's adjoining our own property.
That's on the east side, okay.
Yeah,
It now merges that
Okay.
into this job.
Yeah, so it makes it enough room to put the utilities on the side there, like gas meter and stuff like that. On
That little jog on the right?
I think the gas meter, well, I know the gas meter's back there on the left side of the EMS building.
Gas
On the north.
Gas runs right through the center, right through their utilities, do, right through that part. That's, I don't think we noticed, apparently didn't notice that when we bought the,
Now it's all under one ownership.
Yeah,
It's probably
Okay.
something the county engineer would have done.
probably. Always doing stuff like that.
okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. I was thinking it was on the west side of the way this was reading, but I was in the wrong lot.
That looks to be allowing us, one reason would be side yard setback
Yeah.
compliance.
For that building.
No, for the EMS.
No, EMS building. Could have been.
Because if John Silver, so your front yard would be okay, and that would give you your side yard.
Okay.
Good point. Okay, do we need action on the application?
I would
Approval for
appreciate
submission.
approval for submission, and then the chairman's signature.
Okay, do we have a motion for approval on the application for use permit to the city of Marion?
I would make that motion.
Okay.
That's
Motion.
the chairman's signature.
Oh, and authorize the chairman. Motion by Commissioner Crowfoot.
Yes, and authorized chairman to sign.
Okay. Second by Commissioner Dalton. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Nice job on the description, or summary too. That was very well done.
Thank you. I'll let you have sign this colored copy.
Just one signature.
I think so, yeah.
All right. What else do we have?
On the table, you have a draft, your request for bids for those generators, which you've been discussing. I highlighted, did I highlight on your copy that
Yes.
number 4? I don't know if you really want to seek a bid for that, or if you just want to seek a bid for the connection at Peabody and then input however much similar match toward that particular location. Because the thing that seems a little bit confusing about that is if they have their own generator, we don't know what kind it is. I mean, regardless, they're gonna have to figure out before they can bid if they're authorized to work on that type of generator and
Yeah.
what it actually is, and if they're gonna be expected to perform warranty work on it. I mean, the fire, that should be at the fire district's, maybe their discretion, or or whoever owns the building.
Yeah, the warranty would be only on the parts and labor provided on that one. But because you can't warranty somebody else's.
Right.
But then it's different because it is a standby generator and not a portable generator. So the cost is gonna be more on the Tampa one than it will be on the Peabody one. Because it requires control circuiting. You got a whole separate set of low voltage piping that goes to it, and the automatic transfer switch. It's more involved than the Peabody one.
I would take the Tampa one out, and we'll address that at a later date.
Why not, if this Peabody job costs $500, I don't know what it's gonna cost, let's just make a donation to the Tampa Fire Department for that amount of money, and that helps get that done. Our ambulance is sitting in there, and that's what it's all about, and so that would be an even way to.
Or you could do it based on a percentage of the project cost. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, or a percentage.
But we don't know what that project cost might be.
We could
instead.
address it at a later date. So Commissioner Crowfoot has a motion on the floor to delete option 4.
I'd like to be enlightened again. How did we get to all of these to begin with? I know we've been talking about it, but did we really say, each one of these needs a generator, and what's that generator gonna do to improve any kind of efficiency, or do we have equipment that are sitting in those buildings that have to have power to them 24/7?
The first two, we had a firm consensus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to enlighten myself of where we were.
And then we discussed the other two, and then the direction was given to draw up bids for the four.
I'm just trying to think, trying to decide myself if this is a good investment for our
Well,
taxpayers.
and part of our discussion that we had at the previous meeting was, this is to get bids. Once we get the bids, we can reject them.
Right.
So the thing was
I
considered.
mean, we're looking at 80,000-90,000 here, aren't we?
No,
No.
no, it cut way back by putting those other locations. Well, location number 5, I don't know.
So I did want to draw everyone's attention to the second page, because that's where the 5th point is, and that would be to locate wherever the terminated service was for our jail, which was previously connected here, and then run that instead to the annex. So that's point 5, which is on the second page. So I just wanted to make sure you all saw that as well, because there are 5 different.
And the individual bid, item 2 and item 4, and leave out the rest of them, they have to bid
Yes,
the whole thing.
no, they can bid any or all.
Yeah, again, on item 5, it was more a matter of finding out what the cost would actually be.
Right, right, I understand that. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out in my mind, how have we got by all these years? And did it cause us not to make any runs? Did it cause us to have equipment that failed?
Okay, so the storm hits, got a heart attack, ambulance can't get out of the building.
You can't open the doors manually.
Well, you can, but what kind of staff you gonna have? The lady's gonna be there, Ken may not be there, I don't know. I'm just saying
Should be a census thing.
it's not, but
Physical ability.
physical ability. A man may not be able.
Well, I mean, that was
You
my
can't
first
lift- you
thought,
can't
is
lift
how
those
hard
open
is it
doors.
to open the doors? I don't know.
Yeah, well, you try lifting one of those doors.
The main thing is you have, the reason why we're addressing this and not all the other departments is because, and we are addressing some other departments, but these are emergency services. These are the ones you want.
Does it become a emergency site then?
It has the possibility as a warming
I mean, is
center
that
or-
worth thinking about? I mean, communities, usually they say, you got a disaster, go here, go here. Does this become an emergency site?
It could potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, it appears to me that would be logical. I mean, yeah, you can't put everybody in town in that building, but you could at least provide services for them out of it.
Like Marcy was looking at was the warming centers, so that.
Yeah,
but-
right.
So if there was a,
Generator.
say a tornado issue, it takes out what we call warming centers for,
Right.
but it doesn't take these out. So then, yeah, you would naturally shift and go, okay, go here.
Yeah.
Your mobile command would go there.
I mean, with these generators, it would seem to me then that we need to designate these locations as some type of.
Well, if we get to the point of taking bids, and then we do take a bid, and then we install the
Right.
generators, then that
That's
would be
what I mean.
something to look
If we
at.
go ahead through this.
Yeah. After
It
a
would
couple
seem
more
like a
steps in the
logical
process.
step.
Yeah. Well, there's some other things to keep in mind too.
'Cause
They
that would
carry
be-
narcotics and all kinds of stuff.
I
so you
mean, I
gotta
think that would
careful.
be helpful to emergency management
But they're locked out.
if they use these sites.
It'd have to be handled by emergency management on how to proceed there.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Is there a second to the motion? Okay, second by Commissioner Halkey. And I would ask for the locations to be respelled under item 3, after item 2. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Nay. Motion
That's because we're
carried.
just going for prices.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what the price was.
4-1. All right,
Okay, so so that was just to the motion that I had was
Yes.
just to remove
remove
location
item
4.
Yes,
So does that mean we are moving forward with the bid
Yes.
process? Okay,
that was the motion.
okay.
Right.
So your cut response again.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other administrative items?
I don't think so.
Oh, I got a
Well, yeah.
planning commission member,
Oh, there we go, yeah, it's on the list.
Brad,
We talked to Brad,
Yeah.
and he agreed.
if he just signed back
Okay, Commissioner Balky, did you get
Not
your?
yet.
You what?
Not yet.
Okay, so we have one.
Make a motion to approve Brad Gorsuch for another term on planning and zoning.
District 4.
District 4.
District 4.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Garing, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
So you still have the at-large position to appoint for.
Okay, we were waiting for guidance on whether or not is the term limit applied to.
Right. Okay,
From whom?
this guy over here.
Okay.
I don't know that he was present at that time.
Yeah, you were given direction in abstention, I guess, and no one told you. But the question was whether or not the at-large position, it was shifted from a district position, whether the term limit starts over.
Okay. Let me take a look at it.
I thought I remembered the guidance at that time being as long as no one was appointed to replace that person, they continue to serve. Does that sound?
Well, they're allowed to keep serving.
Until the next
Until
person
you do
is
something.
appointed, but I don't, you can't really just do that
Do it for 3
forever,
years,
can you?
4 years.
No, not
Okay.
indefinitely.
Okay.
But that would be our question.
Okay.
We don't have no bids taken for any of these positions, no notifications put out in the paper, but the at-large, is it supposed to have? I don't know.
I don't think so. It's commissioners, where I take it as commissioner's responsibility. Well, I guess I'm looking at district,
Yeah.
Districts.
so not at large.
So it's commission as a whole responsibility.
But I guess.
My
for-
last two just asked me, they volunteered.
Right, right. But,
Sharon has a list of names.
So do we still have one vacancy?
yeah.
Is that an at-large or is that your?
No, that's not. Well, at large.
We have 3 positions that'll be vacant, or that are coming up.
No,
There's
let me
1 vacant, plus
redo.
the second
Yeah.
Yeah.
there, and then the at-large.
Okay.
I just wonder if I'm interested in putting my vacancy in paper for notification, see if anybody's interested in my district. Because I personally like to have them call me and
There's a little application that you typically fill out.
Chances of that happening are slim enough.
well, I know,
Word of
but
mouth.
You can post on
there was a
Facebook.
time that I wanted on and I couldn't get on.
I tried to help you fill one, and they threw the papers back in the face.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wait for Brad's
Got it.
determination on that, and then we'll pursue it if we need to. All right, anything else administrative?
No.
Okay. Krista, Health Department. Thank you for being patient. The start of the year always has plenty of administrative things.
So I do have another item of business
Okay.
that Erin actually is on her way up here to bring some paperwork for me, Erin
Okay.
Hine. It's for a Safe Kids grant that we get every year.
Mhm.
We had to know who the chairman was going to be in
Oh.
order to, so we tried to, we have Kent listed on this paper, but she's going to bring me the copy that has you, Commissioner
Okay.
Taylor, on there as well.
Okay.
I saw that we have down for building discussion again today, and I didn't know if, we've done some more looking. We looked east of Road and Bridge Department, between the White House and the existing building.
South.
Or south, I'm sorry.
You could build it in the creek.
I spoke with Jeremy Enzi last week, and he said that he is needing those 2 rooms back by the end of May at the very latest. And so that's an update on that.
While we're on that, there's a couple options in the works for Marshall for
Okay.
transition. We'll talk about that next week, but that at least brought it. We should have some options that we can get that space open for the hospital
Okay.
timely.
Jeremy, when we spoke, I asked him about any architects that have experience in doing any kind of medical clinic or building. I also put out there on the Kansas Association of Local Health Departments listserv if anyone knew of people that have experience building a health department. So I've come up with a few names. I also called Cody Nelson and I left him a message. I'm just waiting to hear back what he says. He knows of several architects, I believe, as well. Lynette Reddington over at Harvey County Health Department said that Revere Construction has an architect that they use frequently, or have used for a lot of projects. They built medical clinics. It's out of Newton. Jeremy suggested Ally Architecture and HFG Architects. So those are the 3 names that I have at this point.
Okay. What is generally the next step in the process?
Well, we're waiting to get
Request for qualification?
for qualifications from an architect that's, or somebody that's.
So would they be sent to these candidates?
Yeah, that way they can tell us what they can do for us as far as granting, or if we can, we have to have new versus, or whatever.
We specified they were thinking of 6,000 square foot
Yeah.
medical facility.
Basically gotta lay
Good
out
afternoon, everyone. This is Amy.
what's needed and then tell them how they
What we
can.
want the architect
I just thought it was for the grant proposal stuff.
In order
That's
to
why we
move
needed
forward
to
with any
use-
grant, you have to have an architectural drawing or plans in order
that's
to
the
even
reason
to
why.
apply for the grants.
Right.
If it wasn't for the grant, we wouldn't be looking for any assistance. I don't think.
Well, we need, before we dive into a new building, I think we need to have some type of, a little more professional assistance in preparing plans than just the back of a notebook sketch.
I agree. I've done the cut out your spaces, and that is not my forte or my
Yeah.
expertise, so.
I suggest that you take each room,
Yeah.
Right,
take out
right.
the scale,
Right.
and let us put the puzzle together.
You have to have a concept drawing to take to your architect or to your consultant.
Right.
Right.
Do we ask for bids from the?
Qualifications.
Qualifications.
So we're gonna.
So I would say generally, you probably would do a very general request for qualifications to those architectural
Yep.
firms for, basically, they tell you what their experience has been with those types of projects. So you could give a very general scope of either building a new health department or remodeling an existing and working with whatever grant programs that you're looking at. And then they should submit information about their firm and their experience in that. And then generally you choose based on the qualifications and then you negotiate the contract of how much you're gonna pay them. So it's different than a request for bids because we don't know any specifications.
Right.
And I saw that we were on the agenda for today. I didn't know if there was something else that you all were wanting to discuss further.
Commissioner Becker wanted an executive session on
Oh, yeah.
Property acquisition.
property acquisition.
The administrative stuff on the health department.
I think it's the grant that she was talking
Okay,
about, that
okay.
she's waiting for her staff to come back with it
Okay.
corrected.
So we would have time for that executive session. How long would you like? 5?
Commissioner,
Yes.
it's about 1:30. Do you want to wait to do bids, or would you want to do that first?
That's right, we need to.
We need to do bids at 1:30. Why don't we do that? We'll open the bids.
Do you
that
have
issue
the
and we'll
bids
come
in
back.
now? Okay.
Just take
I will, I mean, they'll go official here in another 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to wait till 1:30 exact.
Yeah.
Mhm.
1 minute, 45.
Yeah, exactly.
He can see the bidders, just not the prices yet until that 1:30, so.
Gotcha. Thanks.
And a lot of bids happen that way because
Yeah.
there's a lot of distrust out there.
Yes.
There's farming of bids.
Well, it's,
That happens.
just to let you know how our system's set up, we have an electronic system now where the bidders submit the PDF document into our plan holders room. And it actually, at 1 o'clock, in this case, 30 minutes beforehand, we can see who submitted bids by name. But I can't tell until 1:30 is when I'll be able to open that bid. We've got it blocked, so for that exact reason. Nobody can see the pricing ahead of time until the bid opening happens, so.
Darren and I talked about that, what we would like to do, again, with your agreeing, that we'll read the bids and then we'll go back and make sure everything is checked out and everything else and come back for approval next Tuesday.
I'll get a presentation ready for next Tuesday to be able to evaluate all the different options throughout, which way is gonna be the best way to go, with which potential low bid contractor.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess there's gonna be quite a few.
We actually, we have 5 bids.
Which I think is exceptional.
That is awesome.
So I'm gonna go ahead and so the other thing that happens is we've got a Teams meeting set up off my computer here to where the bidders can hear this thing going on too.
Good.
So
Excellent.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump into that meeting here.
Good afternoon, all. This is Amy with EVH Engineering. Darren will be on shortly to begin the bid opening during the council meeting.
Okay, Amy, I'm on. Looks like I got one more there. If you want to let them in, then I'll get it started.
Okay. File right now.
Okay. Good afternoon. While Amy double checks to make sure we have the exact latest bid proposals, this is Darren Neufeld with EVH. I am here at the Marion County Commissioner meeting live with the county commissioners, county clerk, and as soon as she verifies to me, we will get started reading the bids for the Marion County Kansas Road Rehabilitation Project, or Reconstruction Project.
There have been no additional bids submitted at this time.
Okay, thank you, Amy. We have 5 bidders at this time. I'm going to read them in no particular order. Back over here. Okay, first bid is from Wildcat Construction Company. And I'm going to read the base bid, the alternate, and then alternate 2. Base bid of $2,675,200 and no cents. Add alternate 1, $2,765,825 and no cents. Add alternate 2, $19,050. And all their other documentation are appropriate. And I will just, I will not read a bid if the documentation is not there, so I won't say that again on anybody's, just because I'm going through it before I read anything. Next bidder is Morgan Brothers Construction. Base bid of $3,075,020 and no cents. So that's 3,075,020.00. Add alternate 1, $3,243,387 and 0 cents. And an add alt 2 of $19,050. Third bidder I have is Votes Parga Construction. I have a base bid of $2,759,414 and 0 cents. And adult one of $2,859,996.00, and an adult two of $21,844. Fourth bidder, Smoky Hill. And I have a base bid of $3,018,015.00. An alt one of $2,937,000, or I'm sorry, $2,937,344.00. With an adult two of $20,320. And then the fifth bid is Andale Construction. Base bid of $2,922,748.53. An adult one of $3,076,443.53, with an adult two of $29,464. So just to let everybody on the bidding know, currently we will do the evaluations and proposals back to the county commissioners later this week, with an intent to be at their meeting here next Tuesday to do a presentation to figure out which either base, alternate, or which package is going to be the selected package. So we will be sending out this as read bid totals that I just read off here later this afternoon. And then after the commissioners make their selection next week, we will send out detailed bid tabulations to all bidders. Are there any questions from the contractors? If not, I want to thank everybody for bidding. Appreciate your work in taking a look at this, and we will see everybody next week for the evaluation here with the county commissioners. Thank you. Okay, I'm muted there. Like I said, I'll go through and do, so just a quick reminder, in case you didn't have a chance to look at all our thick set of stuff. The base bid was to do the project with 8 inches of concrete with 8 inches of your crushed material from Lincolnville. That was the base bid. The ad alternate one was to use about 5 inches of your material, do a cement treated base like we've done on Nighthawk, Indigo, 3/30th, and then do the same 8 inch concrete on top. That ad alternate two was a different type of pavement marking material. That's why it was so small and tiny. Bryce and I talked it over. Since we're doing concrete, we have the option to go with an epoxy paint, which will be there forever. You don't have to worry about it having to repaint in 3, 4, 5 years. It's going to be there for a long time. So that's why we added that in, just to give you guys one more evaluation point.
Appreciate that.
So what I'm going to do next week when I come back, I'll get this to Tina to get out to you ahead of time, but when we go through and look at them, I'm going to evaluate, because there's a line item in here we left in with the contractors supplying that crushed base material also. So when my evaluation comes through, I will take that out. So you're going to see a base bid and a base bid minus their supplied material, because you guys already have it. So depending on what they bid on that, we're going to look at it a bunch of ways. So if the 2.7 million bid on here might only be about 2.4 or something, gotcha, because we're going to take out their supplied material. So you can look at it always. The reason we did that is to give you guys the availability. If for some reason somebody was going to give you a really great price on bringing material in, and it's cheaper than the stuff you already have in your hip pocket that you've already paid to have crushed, use theirs, keep yours for other things. So we wanted to give you guys that flexibility when we did that. So that's why we have it set up a bunch of different ways.
Is this for a full mile, or is this?
Two. 2 miles.
This is approximately 500 and some feet north of 56.
Right.
All the way from 156 down through 190th to the south side of Ag Service.
Yep.
To the low water crossing.
No, because that one low water crossing still.
I mean, it's a bridge, but I call
Well,
it low water.
okay, there is a
It
bridge
floods.
just north of Ag Services that we're going across.
Yes.
South of it.
No, we're stopping right at the south driveway of Ag Services. So, yeah, it's right at 2 miles.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit under.
And of course, we, Darren and I, obviously Darren did most of it, but we've met with both the co-op as well as Ag Service to work out this phasing and sequencing to try to work with them as much as we can for access. So
The access to those two we have worked out pretty decent. Bryce is gonna have to work with Ag Service during the time period we have their north part blocked off to get them around on a county road.
Sure.
yeah.
But as far as the rest of the phasing, we'll be able to keep them both in and out, no problem. Depending on when we've given the contractors to the end of 2023 to complete this job. Some of them say they can't start till this summer, so that, but there's about 3 farm fields that we're gonna have to work with real close with farmers. And we have all the farm, landowner contact information we've been gathering, and we've been in contact with most of them. So it just kind of depends on when we hit in certain places, whether we have to try to give them a temporary access or work some kind of agreement between 2 farmers to, keep us moving in and out.
Right.
But we think we got, for the most part, have to take care of. We have no residential driveways on this stretch other than 2 secondary driveways. Nobody's primary residential driveways in this stretch. That helps.
Got it.
So,
Very good. Other questions for Darren?
okay.
If not, Darren, we really appreciate it.
No problem.
I think the two of you have come up with some good options.
Well, so we've tried
That
to
gives us
give you the
information.
most options to give you the best flexibility, so.
Appreciate that.
Um,
This will be a long-term solution for that stretch of road. That's why I especially appreciate the paint, because
Well,
most
that's,
of our paint is only.
if you want
we
to
have do
see
another
this
surface.
other style of paint, if sometime you're driving through the south part of the county, swing by the Peabody High School.
Mhm.
The paint we used on that new concrete we put in at the high school and over at grade school is this epoxy paint. And it's as hard as the concrete is. It is, and it locks into the concrete.
Right,
so.
because that concrete's gonna last a long time.
Well, and that's what, he said they actually had some boo-boos down there, and he said they basically had to almost had to remove the pavement, they couldn't even get rid of the stripes.
There was a couple spots where they overshot and needed to come back in, and they brought in an industrial grinder and actually had to dig into the concrete to get the paint going just a little bit. So it sticks, it adheres. So.
Epoxy. Epoxy.
Yeah, I mean, you glue concrete together with
Yeah,
it, so.
yeah. You
The
put
paint-
rebar in with epoxy, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's just as good as putting it in when it was built.
And the normal paint you're getting is what we use, it's highway grade paint. We spec'd out highway grade on this. We didn't spec out the same stuff we typically do on an asphalt that you're gonna have to repaint anyway, so
And
it's,
is
you gotta get
the
a
wider
paint.
line too.
We kept it at 4-inch
We kept it
edge
4
line
inch.
because we're only 24 feet wide.
Okay.
And we
So-
wanted to make sure to keep enough pavement on the
Yeah.
outside, so we had to move it in. 6 inches would have crowded us on our lane
Yeah.
width.
Okay.
So,
So just to give a little bit wider perception, we do have rock shoulders on this, but that's such a narrow stretch anyway that we didn't wanna.
18 inches of rock or?
24.
24.
The only place where it won't be is, we have 2 little, one's a box, one's a culvert, that it'd be tough to hold that shoulder right on top of it, so they won't be there, but otherwise, we're gonna get 2 foot on both sides.
Very good.
If you can make sure, put me on the agenda and let me know when, next week.
How about 1:30?
Okay, how about 1:30? Let me put that in my calendar so I don't forget. And that is Tuesday,
Tuesday,
correct?
yeah,
Is that right?
Tuesday.
Right, over and over again?
Yeah.
So if I show up Monday, the doors are locked.
Yep. Tuesday.
And when do you need a document that would go to them?
Friday.
Got it.
I'll try to put them on.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
again.
you very much. Appreciate it, gentlemen.
Thank you. This will be a really good project.
Over there, you've had information on Kansas County Government Day. If anybody is planning to go to that, let me know. That's,
Eighth?
no, that is January 25th at the Capitol. KAC has an event with a legislature session. So you might review that. And they do, it's free, but they want to know.
Sure.
What's the K's?
KAC and LKM.
8th February?
No, that's the Kansas County Day at the Capitol. That's a different event.
Oh.
This is Kansas County Government Day. And so,
Yeah.
two different events.
Too many events. All right, we'll ask Krista to come back in. That's,
Krista?
Mike Bryce.
No problem.
The information for both events is in the folder.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the paperwork first.
Well, this is a Safe Kids grant
Mhm.
in the amount of $2,450. These funds are used to purchase materials and safety devices for safe sleep, education, and drowning prevention.
Excellent.
All the funding that we have goes toward that. We will send off both copies to the state or both originals to the state, and then they will send us one back to keep.
Great.
So I guess I just need to get that approved.
Do we have motion to approve the Safe Kids
I'll
grant?
make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Dalkey, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker, any questions? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Great program.
Thank you. Just one signature,
Chairman?
Chairman of the.
Chairman will sign it. There's,
Chairman?
uh-huh.
A few little notations.
A bunch of them.
Oh, boy. We need two of
Who's missing?
them.
Since we're talking about grants, I will bring up that the SAM renewal is still in limbo for the county. So I talked to a supervisor Friday, and so I'm supposed to check back on Wednesday.
You've never had that issue before, have you?
No.
Can they attribute it to anything?
Yes, it's an unforeseen problem with their database when they switched to a new vendor for a federal service. And, yeah.
You're not the only one then.
No, but
Very frustrating.
it is very frustrating.
Appreciate your patience. Any other paperwork?
No, that is it.
And Aaron, do you do the Safe Kids?
I do.
Well, thank you for your work with Safe Kids. I think
Yeah.
that's a great project.
You're welcome, I enjoy it.
Good.
Thank you.
So thank you. Okay, Commissioner Becker asked for a 5-minute executive
Property
session on
acquisition.
property acquisition. Okay, I move we recess the executive session in order to discuss potential property acquisition pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 6, preliminary discussion of acquisition of real estate with the commission, Brad, Tina, and Krista for 5 minutes.
No, wait.
Not Kristen.
Oh, don't be Krista.
Just the commission, Brad and Tina?
Oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't say.
Krista.
Krista. 148 to 153.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gearing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay, motion carried 5-0. Sorry, I thought, I misunderstood.
Told you that.
At least you came back to come in and get the tea.
You would make me come in. This conference will now be recorded.
We're out of executive session, we're gonna go back in for another 10. I move that we recess to executive session in order to discuss preliminary property acquisition potential property acquisition pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 6, preliminary discussion of acquisition of real estate. Commission, Brad and Tina for 10 minutes. 155 to 205.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Back at 205.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're out of executive session. No decisions made.
Man, you got a lot of mics on.
I know. I think something
And
happened.
Bryce is always on the phone.
With our meeting, it doesn't like let them come in without their sound maybe anymore for some reason.
Try to get.
All right, we'll try take 2.
3, 4, whatever, yeah.
It's only 6 minutes behind.
Okay. Alrighty.
What do you have for us today?
All kinds of stuff.
Did you make any announcement of the?
No decisions made.
Okay.
Transport fuel bids for approval, just had one response, MFA. So.
It was last week.
That was
That was
area.
area, yep. Last week we only had one, and that was that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Trading off.
Yeah, and we call, remind, whatever else, every week, so.
Okay, is there a motion?
I make that motion to accept MFA oil for a total price of $30,259.10. This is for 4,000 gallons of diesel fuel, tank 3, 1,500 gallon diesel fuel, tank 1, and 2,500 gallons of unleaded at regular or gasoline price. So, grand total $30,259.10.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, looking at things up there on the,
$3 gas. Take that win.
keep going down, keep going.
No, trash.
Oh, okay.
You want yours?
I think we got everybody.
Okay, gotcha, okay. Looking at the 2040 commercial building, up there on the highway. What is the commission's plan for the existing furnishings? We have a tanning bed, we have an upright tanning bed, we have 2 manicure pedicure chairs, we have mirrors on the wall. I don't know if Purple Wave would do that, if it's worth it, I don't know. The other thought is sealed bids.
Sealed.
Sealed bids.
I don't know.
I mean, there's some value in there, not a lot of value. Well, we had talked about us putting it in sealed bids.
Okay.
And then they basically remove them, the mirrors, especially from the walls, because if we break one, then we done with that. So I mean, the mirrors are actually probably pretty valuable. They're pretty good size and they're heavy duty, but.
If you need one.
Is the actual tanning bed there?
Yes.
Two of
There's
I know they're expensive new.
They're expensive, but they're extremely heavy to move. And the big expense, from what I understand, is changing the bulbs. So.
Takes 4 big boys to move one.
Yeah.
So is there any opposition to going out to sealed bid with the equipment? What's there?
Or,
Yeah, I don't know if Purple Wave would even.
Yeah.
Purple Wave's a little,
a little much for them.
well, it's a little more industrial.
Well, right, yeah.
And you have
And we've got the fake fireplace. There's a mannequin, couple shelves and stuff like that in there. I don't know if we can really use that.
Hey,
Right.
Christmas decorations in the making.
Okay.
Let's go sealed bids.
Okay, I'll do some work on that and try to get some information back, so, okay.
cash and carry.
Yeah.
No checks.
Have you given much thought on that thing, once we come up with plans, do you wanna bid it, or do you wanna just do the construction management approach, or we just go out and find locals to do it? Any thoughts either way? If we bid it, we're probably looking at longer time frame to do it, as compared to the construction management way of where I could go in there and just, obviously everything would be approved and everything else, but the biggest thing you're looking at is if you go out and bid it, the low bid may take longer to get in there or whatever else as compared to finding somebody else that can get in there right away. Just throwing that out there. So we don't have to have a decision, but I mean, it's something to think about.
Something you got time to take on and manage? Or?
I'll make it work. Let's put it that way. I understand the significance of what that is. So
He's got 2 good
Would
women.
that fall
Well,
in?
that's what I was wondering. does it have to be, I mean, can the three of you
Yes.
trade off and,
Yeah.
and act as,
Yeah, it's mainly just, obviously coming up with, obviously the plans for one thing, all the other stuff, what we wanna do for like floor cuttings and things like that. But it's just a matter of, if we could do the construction, we have a lot more control over those, contractors coming in and out of there, because otherwise you tend to wait a lot longer. to
Wouldn't
get
that
stuff.
fall under where, dollar wise, we'd have to bid it?
well,
Would you bid out sections, or how would you?
well, it's design build, so you're never gonna get apples for apples.
Well, I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there, but I mean, I don't know what the, if you wanna say design, build, construction manage, whatever the case may be about that.
Are you tearing walls out and
Yeah.
everything, changing?
Yeah. So,
So you're talking about the county being the general contractor, so to speak, and then just getting bids from different
Right.
companies for different parts of the job,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So then those bids would come to the board for approval,
Right.
selection, rather than bidding it out as a
Total.
package.
yeah.
Yeah, so you'll get bids for electrical.
Yeah,
you'll get
well,
bid for
and obviously
HVAC.
look for, I would say encourage and or solicit, in-county
Yes.
bids as much as possible.
Yes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna.
You can get anybody interested in doing it that way.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing that I like about it is the fact is that, again, I think we can have more control over getting them in there. You know, general contractors gonna have other jobs
Well,
and
you're
things
also
like that.
keeping, I hate to say it,
The overhead down.
well, yeah, I mean, you're saving 10% off the bat if you guys got time to do it.
Yeah.
But the other thing is when you walk in on a job and you hire somebody else to produce the product and you're not there regularly, you'd be like, oh, well, I didn't want it like that.
Yeah. Well,
And usually it doesn't cost any extra. If you catch it
yes.
as it's happening, they will
Well, and
adjust.
I totally understand. I mean, it's not as though we can show up once a week up there and have taken care of it. It's gonna be more time than that.
Close, I think, can come by twice a day.
I was thinking just moving his desk out right away.
Okay.
Well, main thing is the cell phone.
Just sit
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, okay.
There's a nice counter there already.
Yeah,
You just
well,
move it around.
like I said, we're just in the preliminary phases of that.
Okay, is it just a general consensus, is that, are there concerns with that approach?
I'm good with it either way.
I think it'd be the best.
Well, I mean, I like the
quickest.
thought of trying to find people in this county that can do it, if you can find anybody.
Yeah.
I know there's no electricians.
Plumbing is the one thing that
Zero.
I struggle to find.
Yeah. Well, and you know, again, we're fortunate, the fact is we won't need a lot of plumbing work to get done. But anyway, when we get all that work, get drawn up and everything else, we can talk about that more, but just something to think about.
Okay.
So, I have got a request out there to have them drawn up, hopefully get done this week. Be back with you on scale plans and stuff to that effect. Both as to what we have now and to what we're looking for. So before and after. I was up there looking around last week, got up into the attic, was looking around, access is all around, its trusses all the way through there. I did verify there are heat pumps out there. Talked with the local contractor, he recommended we should stick with at least the 2 units. So my question is, is it okay to have somebody go out there and check them out to see if they're in good shape, or I can't imagine it costs that much money to do that, but.
Might be beneficial to check them out after you already start demo.
Well,
Check out your-
the only thing I was concerned about was, because obviously they're gonna be a big ticket item, if we needed to replace them ahead of time. Now, obviously, what we need to be concerned about as well is during the demo and whatever else is, we gotta make sure to keep those units from getting dusty and ruin the systems. So, but I just thought I'd at least check, and I don't know what there really is to check them out. I know the one was operating when I was in there, but I don't know about the other one. So, because we're obviously gonna have to figure out if we're gonna keep both units, how we're going to,
Zone them.
yeah, separate them or whatever else, so.
Would there be opposition to having Bryce,
No.
get someone to look at the units, just to get,
Probably a good idea.
gauge their
Okay.
condition?
Just FYI, I found out that Lyon County in Emporia just went out to bid on a new shop as well as bridge building. I will get a set of plans this Wednesday from them, just to find out what they spec'd and things like that, just for our information. So we have basically an up-to-date bid for what we're looking at for that kind of work, so. Went through the front end loader backhoe specifications, and I would like to recommend that we purchase the Murphy tractor John Deere. It was a 320, 320P John Deere front end loader backhoe for $139,895.09, included freight to Marion as well.
That was a low bid, wasn't it?
That was the low bid, yes.
It would beat the other one by about $2,000, right? The case.
Yeah, 140.
$1,600. So,
Any questions for Bryce?
Is that out of this year's budget?
no, that would be in, that was the money from our Purple Wave auction.
It would, but it would be
Be into
the
this year.
2023 budget,
Yes.
yes.
But that money that we got from Purple Wave.
Just to offset that.
Yeah.
Other questions? Not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll take Bryce's recommendation, make that a motion.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Garing to accept the recommendation. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay. Do you still have those numbers, Tina, or do you need them again? You should have them last week.
It's
Okay.
in the minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, they're in the minutes.
Okay, last week we talked about the, maintenance of, or the work, oh man. Of, I left that over there. I'll be right back.
Just want to play background music.
Oh, just not.
Elevator music.
Left him downstairs.
He said it's close to by.
Or game show music. Next contestant on the Price is Right. Yeah.
For my last election trading, we did a Jeopardy game with my poll workers. It was fun.
So Brad, how much?
But I didn't have music.
You'll have what, about 2 hours? Is that
It'll be pretty quick because it's not a lot of action.
okay? Oh, that, yeah. Sorry.
It's be pretty quick.
Well,
Okay.
Sorry about that. Talking about what we were going to chip seal compared to microsurfacing.
Oh,
this
yes.
year. We talked about Kansas, 140th to 290th minus the Kansas project, limestone, 290th to 330th, Quail Creek, 290th to 370th, and then 340th from Quail Creek to Morris County line. Talking with Steve and I, we would like to microsurface the Kansas limestone, and then go ahead and chip seal Quail Creek and 340th. So we would have 17 miles of micro and
Didn't know the steps were that.
yeah, oh man, and 16 miles of chip seal. So checking on the prices in order to chip seal versus the microsurfacing based on last year's costs, where they told me this should be about $30,000 a mile. I went back and actually checked into contracting out chip seal, and according to what I got from estimates there, contractor putting down the material, Marion County paying for the oils and the material, you're looking at about $36,000 a mile. So it's about $5,000 more than what it was last year, and that was basically just due to the contractor's extra labor. So on a net figure, you're talking about an extra $25,000 a mile for microsurfacing compared to chip sealing. So, you know, adding in the 17 miles of the chip seal at roughly $25,000 a mile. You're looking at $425,000 to do that with the microsurfacing, or just the extra money for microsurfacing, or just go back with the chip seal. So to say that both of those roads could probably use it, I think they could. I just don't know if we can fork out that kind of money the same year. So,
What's the budget gonna allow?
well, the budget is gonna be determined on how much that we blade patch as well, to try to stay ahead of that. And then anything else that we come up with, you know, obviously we're hitting the capital improvement for, what was it, 2.5 million? Something to that effect, for the microsurfacing alone this year. So, again, it kind of comes down to how hard do we want to hit this?
Right, but a lot of it, like you were just explaining, is you're exchanging additional for microsurfacing, and we're
Yeah.
gonna spend this much for chip
Yeah.
seal, and we're
Yeah,
bumping it up for
yeah.
which I think we've discussed before. So far, what we've seen is a much superior product.
How many more years are we supposed to get out of the micro?
Well, I mean, essentially, your chip seal is you're basically covering up what you have now, and whatever you have below is
Right.
They're saying, you know, depending on the road, 3 to 5 years for the microsurfacing, depending on more. Again, it's tough to say, not knowing traffic, weather conditions, things to that effect as well.
And after you microsurface, basically you need to go with a chip seal down the road. Because those
yeah.
cracks will eventually,
They're gonna come back.
they're gonna
yeah,
come back,
yeah.
they're gonna shoot through.
Uh,
Yeah, but
and-
we're not getting anything chip sealed more than every 3 to 5 years.
It was originally scheduled that every road in the county got chip seals at least once every 4 years. Now, we've changed that a little bit, and the fact is we've done some overlays and things like that, so that will kick them out of the plan for a while. But,
I mean, if we end up getting the same amount of years, and I like microsurf,
Well,
but if we're gonna get the same amount of years, we might as well just go and just keep chip sealing.
yeah, yeah. Well, I can almost guarantee we're gonna get more life out of the microsurface.
Well,
But we don't know yet.
There's the other aspect too of keeping them on the roads, keeping his guys
Yeah.
on the dirt roads and on the rock roads by using the microsurface.
Well, typically chip sealing isn't near as time consuming as what the blade patching is. I'm hoping that this last year we did such a tremendous amount of blade patching that we hopefully won't have it as much, but again.
But are you gonna have to blade patch the roads that you're
Yes.
gonna microsurface?
Well, yes and no.
It
There's
has
some.
to be bad.
Yeah, if they're really, really bad, I would probably recommend that. Of course, we go out and do that right away. Anything we're gonna chip seal, we like to get down and let it set for a couple weeks to a month out there, and then we can cover it up out of that. You know, but again, I'd like to say that, I mean, we're very confident we're gonna do less than what we did last year, but, we're not done with this winter yet either. We could end up with a wet, cold snap and have some real problems.
This is a dumb question, but I'm asking anyway. The chip seal material versus the micro surface material. Is it at all possible to use the microsurface material on a chip seal, or does it have to, it's gotta get that encapsulation? right?
Yes, yep. And that's not even anything that we have control with. That's a state and federal requirement.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, even if it did work, you can't do it because
Correct.
it has to be encapsulated.
Correct. Either in asphalt, most of it is like for concrete pavement, where it's in there. Now, to say that it would be, that's just the way they've set it.
Right. No, it's fine. I'm glad they have use for it.
Yeah.
Just
Okay, so you were looking at an additional 17,
Yes.
and that's in addition to, what did we commit to before?
40.
40, so this would be 57.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be amazing.
But all we're committing to right now is the material.
Right.
So you could decide, okay, it doesn't fit in the budget, and the material can sit.
Well, and
here.
you would think
mean,
getting the material in now, would be, even if we let it set, would be less expensive than waiting another year. The only thing would be is I don't know what the fuel costs will be
Yeah.
a year from now.
Yeah.
Maybe more, maybe less, who
But
knows?
we're not out anything, we still own the product.
If we
as
have,
well.
yeah,
And
And this is a product that doesn't hurt to sit.
yeah.
as long as you set
It's
it in
been
the right
sitting down
places.
there for lots and lots and lots of years too, so.
Okay.
Disappear.
Yeah.
I know I like the microsurfacing. I know it's more expensive, but I just see a longer life out of it by removing the dips. I guess what irritates me the most on foundation is when you have dips and water sets in.
Yeah.
That's gonna get down into the sun base.
No matter what we do, I think we need to improve, you know, if most of the roads that he just mentioned, it's gonna be up north this year, we need to improve on our blade patching to keep other roads up. While we're working, you know, we worked down here last year on the blacktop and Indigo and stuff. You know, there was a lot of roads that we needed to blade patch while we was doing some of this other work, so I think it's pretty important whether we make that choice to maybe spend a little more money and have a contractor do whatever, or at least so we can get our guys to do some blade patching and keep, I mean, for 3 months I had Old Mill south there by the water tower that was just continually going downhill and we never touched it. And Bryce knew about it, we couldn't get to it. So,
Yeah, and that is one thing I can tell you, that one of the roads that we're gonna have to go work on is 30th from
Yeah.
Old Mill West. We're losing the shoulders and stuff like that, you
Yeah.
know, but, and again, I look at the traffic maps, and that's the other thing too, is if we're gonna continue these as asphalt roads, at what teeter point do you say stays pavement compared to going back to rock or whatever else? Very, very difficult for anybody to make that decision. And the repercussions either way can be, but I'm just saying, you know, the cost of asphalt, even at a microsurfacing at $60,000 a mile, overlay at $250,000 a mile, compared to put rock on it.
put it 3 miles or
Yeah.
something like that.
So, anyway, and like I said, we don't have to have a definite, but I just do need to find out exactly how much chip seal rock we have available now, whether we need to move it or whatever else, and I need to get more coming in. So.
Comment?
No, I was
You
just trying to
think-
think, yeah, what the expense of the material is. Is there more expense in, there isn't that much expense. Material, the chip material isn't that expensive.
Well, it roughly runs the same price as the oil as well as the labor. They're all about equal.
I mean, it runs same as a rock.
I had well, the chip seal as a contract would be about $10,000 a mile. Oil would be about $16,000 a mile, and chips about $10,000. Now, I've also been told that the oil that they use is basically still up there, hasn't come down like diesel has.
So we're talking 17 miles, we're talking $170,000.
Yeah, to get the chips or whatever. But again, that's just the chip seal as compared to the microsurface.
No, I meant the microsurface material. What is the microsurface material?
We don't have, I don't know what the total would be for that coming in. I can find out, but.
Just, that way we know what we're committing
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
I'll follow
Yeah,
up.
get a price on the microsurface material, because you're already gonna be
That's just
stockpiling
blacktop.
for the 40 miles, right?
I mean, that's just regular old mix, isn't it?
No,
The chip seal? No, that's that
No,
stuff.
on that
from-
micro stuff.
Microsurface.
Right. That's the stuff from Baxter Spring down there, that chat. It has to be totally encapsulated.
Chat.
Yeah.
I'm saying chit. Chat.
Chit chat, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But no, it's actually chat.
Okay.
So, I'll find out.
About the same volume as it would be on chip seal? Or a little more?
No, I think it's considerably more.
Considerably.
Simply because it's a smaller material
Right.
and you put more of it in there.
Okay.
So, basically all you got a chip seal, all you wanna do is put some skid resistance on it. So, okay, let me follow up to find out what that would be. So,
We have to know that to know what we're impacting,
Yeah.
what we're really gonna impact.
right. Okay.
whether we do the 17 or not.
Okay. And then, based on what we do with those 4 roads, that cuts us down to the chip and the microsip to 33 miles. And then the following year, we would finish off what we haven't done the last 4 years, would give us 31 miles. So, assuming that chip seal, those are roads that would need something. So, okay. And the only last thing I had was, I was checking, or working with the high-risk rural roads, the stuff that we need to submit, I think it's the end of February, whatever it is. I actually contacted them, and I just got to think and said, okay, would it be possible for us to combine funding sources? As in, if we got the high-risk rural roads, could we go back and use one of the other sources for the bridges or whatever else? It is possible, but not recommended, is what I was told. And that is because most of the funding, like the high-risk railroads and stuff like that, those are all federal funding sources. So therefore, once you start the federal funding source, anything else after that falls under the federal funding source guidelines, which means all the extra paperwork and things like that. You now have a NEPA permit, which is the federal basic work permit. So now anything, even if you wouldn't need it, if you're using federal funds, you now need it.
Okay, so we need to keep it separate.
Yeah, my thought, because what I was thinking was, in particular, like 290th. You know, we've got the roadway to worry about, we've got the bridge to worry about. Well, maybe we could get the high-risk roads to work on the road, get something else to work on the bridges.
Right.
You know, again, that's a possibility, but highly discouraged. He said if you could keep everything in state funds, it's so much easier to go. So, but anyway, just
On
like at things.
The bid for today,
Hmm?
the state was really, really adamant about grants on partnerships.
Okay.
Is there any way we could pursue something with the city of Hillsborough partnering to get some of that paid for?
Well, I've talked about this in the past, and basically they want to provide some of the crushed material for us.
But if
Anything more than that, and I don't know, as far as the state or whatever else, you know, there's nothing really we can do about that because we let this as a county contract with nothing there. But yeah, in the future, they encourage that. That's how Darren was talking about that job they got done down at Peabody. That was a combination of the city and the school that got together. And that, yeah, they encourage that because they're actually providing sources to handle several different entities.
I just didn't, it's too late past the bid letting yet.
Yeah.
So does Hillsborough have enough of that material to supply that project, you think?
They said that they do, but they don't know for sure. Let's put it that way. Now,
Nobody's run a drone over to figure out how many tons they have.
You know,
But I mean,
and again,
if they would be willing to provide some of that.
Well, it shortens our miles too. It shortens our diesel.
right?
It shortens a lot of things.
Yeah. And again, that's one of the reasons why we let it the way it was, because we knew we had that material available. But that material has a set cost as well, and like Darren says, if we can get new material less money than that, then that's what we're looking at.
And that's what we'll find out.
Yeah. So, but anyway, again, is that something you want me to, because I mean, it really needs to, it goes above Dale, it really needs to go to, I would think, the commission over there for that. As far as the official capacity, is that what you're talking about?
On the grant?
No, to use that material.
Oh, to use the
Yeah,
material.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you just said the administrator.
Okay, whatever the case may be, but I just.
That's the final call before it goes on to the council.
Right, right. And I mean, I really don't see a problem with it, but just throwing that out there, so. And I don't know, is that something you want me to do? Is that something you guys want to do?
We need to wait till next week to make sure.
Well, right, but I'm just saying that you.
Well, yeah,
something to think about.
we can contact them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a
Okay.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, other than that, I think that's all I had, unless you guys have anything else, so.
Okay, Commissioner Dolphy.
We're spending quite a bit of cash here. I'd like to have a general rundown of what our budget looks like, where we sit, so we know what we have and what we don't have.
Well, we basically just started over for this year's budget, so everything should have been addressed.
But we're spending some of the loan for the
bonds, yep.
for that. And so, like just a general rundown of where our money's coming from.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's, maybe it's not important, but I think it is.
Right. I will tell you too that, talked with Zach, he's the new city man down there, about going down there and remove some trees for him too, down there, so if you take the excavator down there, we'll be able to do some of that, so.
Okay, anything else? No, thank you, Bryce.
Okay, thanks.
That's on a county road, but they're half of the road, what you're saying.
Well, no, we're actually looking at coming in off of 60th.
Oh, around the bend?
Yeah, around there. We've also looked at maybe going outside of town, down to Potter's, but most of the stuff down there has stuff in the cable lines and stuff like that, and we're not gonna mess with that, but, all right.
All right, thank you, Bryce. Brad?
Okay, a number of these are updates today. I'm going to try to avoid us having to do any kind of executive session for once. On our existing litigation, in particular on the Buller litigation, I'm going to have a conference with our litigation counsel on that, and then come back to you with that on just what we're looking at, what we need to do in preparation, some of the things that we still need to acquire and have in place, any other discovery that he feels is appropriate based upon our discussion and the fact that we want to proceed in that vein. I want to be sure we have everything in line and in order that they need from staff, and also any preparatory kinds of things done there. Had a contact with KDHE on one of the most recent complaints that we've had on some property, and they are looking at what they can do and what they have done, what they have in the way of records on that. They did not get back with me as of Friday or this morning. I just checked again, I haven't got that response. I was going to get that in email form, and I'll share that with you as soon as I get it. So there wasn't too much more I can do on that today. On the two bridges that we've been discussing, had a fairly lengthy phone call from the mayor in Florence. He has been directly involved in maintaining that and having lined up an engineer to evaluate it previously, all within the last several years. A lot of the cleanup had to go out and submit that for bid and get different bidders on it. So basically all of that maintenance he feels they have done. One of their council members, heard our meeting and had the impression that perhaps the county wanted to take over that bridge, and I disabused the mayor of that and said without a doubt there's absolutely no desire, and it wasn't really brought up here, the nexus or the genesis of that wasn't from this body. And so, anyway, so.
Got lots of them.
So in that circumstance.
But we do need some type of documentation.
Yeah, and I'm gonna, he and I had that conversation last week, and so I said I would follow up with him on that.
Okay.
The one in Peabody still is an issue, and I have talked with 3 different departments, with the Kansas Department of Transportation. We're trying to look up a few additional pieces of that. I had enough opportunity last week to reconfirm that for all intents and purposes, half of that still is Kansas responsibility in terms of the Department of Transportation. And they thought that that's probably what created the impetus for all of this, and wanting to get out from under that and have it be done at the local level. I said, well, we just need to know what your expectations are and what else we need to have, and perhaps need to arrange for a Zoom meeting with the commission if in fact it needs to go that far. The last conversation on that was this morning, and I've sent him some responsive things since then, and checked in with Bryce as to who had been the original person in touch. So we're working through that. Gossel, while I had them on the phone, they are looking at that. Agreed that they would probably have to be involved, and then I did make a call, or placed a call to the Department of Ag because of that waterway issue. That will in fact be an element of it too, so it's not real simple, but it is something that we can raise, have them look at and see what can or cannot be done. So that is in process. I have 1, 2, 3 for sure, 4, 5, and I didn't get far enough along, and I apologize for that because it was over the weekend. policies that you need to see in advance of the meeting for us to discuss more fully. Tina had shared the various existing procurement and purchasing policies we have. I used a different template and tried to plug everything that was relevant from those into it, along with some of the federal and state requirements that have been in the last couple of years, in particular 5 years for this case, 10 years since we've last redone it. Things that they like to see in them in a general statement of policy, to try to start from that premise, and then the local or the smaller rudimentary kinds of purchases, dealing with what guidance you gave in terms of upping that limit. The other two I'd like to get back before you while they're still somewhat fresh in our discussion. Meeting cancellation elements of things, and I want to run that past Tina first. And also your payday agenda limitations, or just some guidance on that if we still want to follow up with that as well. Sphere of influence issues that started with this last issue with Hillsborough, and that requires a little bit of attention, and actually it led me to look at what we have, if anything, in place with all the other cities in the county, and check to see what notices we've ever received on that. So I want to try to do that globally and check with all of them, and I'm still in the middle of that. So the rest of it, I think, those are the 6 or 7 that I wanted to mention today in terms of progress and where we are. None of them require action today, and I didn't have anything to distribute to you, but I would think that should be forthcoming on most of these now.
Brad, if you'd like to have these 6 pictures or so that I have of from the bridge, the
I would.
Peabody Bridge over to the highway bridge, they're right here, and they're just beautiful pictures.
That would be great, because they asked me for anything and everything I had, and I said, I don't have any visuals on them other than having driven there.
Do you have to deal with the Topeka, or can you just deal with KDOT engineer here?
Well, I started out with Topeka, and they transferred me, and we went through about a 45-minute conversation, and then found out that really isn't me. That's more the highway maintenance engineer for this district. And then this morning I got a completely different person. They're all very helpful. They just started saying, well, wait a minute, where is this? And then initially, last week, they thought I was talking about the city of Marion. I said, no. This is in the county.
Say they've got an engineer right here.
Yeah, and so we went through all of that, but it actually appears to go at a little slightly higher level in terms of the overall comprehensive element of how they handle their bridges and their inventory.
He's the engineer, isn't he?
What, I'm sorry?
Oh, yeah.
No, they haven't approved it yet. I kind of wanted them to do that first, which should be next week. Okay. But yeah, I have that on here too. So that's the extent of what I had to do. Okay.
Anything else for Brad? If not, we're at the end of the agenda. Next meeting will be Tuesday, the 17th.
Yes, sorry.
What says on the sheet here?
That's correct, 12:30.
At 12:30. I'll be remote.
I'll be remote if I'm not on the road. I don't think I'll be on the road by Tuesday. Doing a makeup Christmas. Christmas was a little warmer. It was a little too cold to make that trip then.
We've got a Monday holiday next week.
Yeah, so the meeting is on Tuesday. Following week on Monday, next week it's on Tuesday again.
Another holiday?
Payday.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Calendar's gone, but I remember it was Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, yeah. And Monday.
Yes.
That's true.
It's actually one of the easiest ones to keep straight.
And then they alternate, just as long as it's not on their own week. All right, nothing else, I move to adjourn. Second. Commissioner Dalkey. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Congratulations again on those being sworn in.
I'm just waiting to see what May runs. And have to run again?